All right, what's up, everybody? This is Dan, and today I have an amazing guest with me. We're going to be interviewing this amazing gentleman. Now, for context, I'll let him share a little bit about his story in a few minutes, but someone I met through Russell Brunson's Inner Circle, and the reason why I wanted to interview him is because after seeing tons of entrepreneurs and I love seeing people that have huge visions, but sometimes I see a lot of people with huge visions with very little follow through. And when I met this gentleman, I when I was hearing him talk, everything I heard him say, I was like, got it. This guy thinks not only big, but he can also tactically put it together. And I think there's something to do with his history, and I'll let him share kind of his history behind how he got to that point. Um, but that's why I'm so excited to share this interview with you guys today. And really, my job today is really to see if I can help facilitate the information that he has back to everybody else so we all benefit. So, on that note, I want to introduce you all to Mr. Bill Allen. Bill, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks. I don't know. I got three kids. I spent 20 years in the military. So I'm an engineer. I have a mechanical engineering bachelor's degree and an aeronautical engineering master's degree. I've never done anything in engineering or science or any of that stuff, really. Went into the military right out of college, flew helicopters and airplanes for 20 years. And I started flipping houses when I was in the military. So I was active duty flying. I was flying, how was I doing? My first house flip was in Maryland. I was a test pilot for the Navy at that point, testing aircraft, mostly helicopters, and I wanted some side income, and I watched the TV shows. I really got addicted to it, so I was like, if these guys can do it, maybe I can do it too. Bought a house, fixed it up, sold it, made $43,000, and that was like half of my military income. So it kind of like changed my life. Did another one the next year, and then I joined a coaching program, and I did 67 houses the next year while I was still flying full time. After that, I did 135 the next year, 187 the year after that. We did about 200 houses a year until COVID. Now we do maybe like 40 to 60 houses a year since then. So just business model changed since then. The coaching program that I joined when I was in the military to go from doing one house a year to 67 houses, paid a guy $25,000 for a mastermind. We can unpack that if you want. I'd never spent,
Sure, let's
I
jump
never,
down. Let's break it down.
yeah, never even bought a book before that. I had a library card, so I would wait like 3 months to get a book because I was super cheap. I grew up super cheap, wanted to save like 80 cents on the dollar. Thought I'd save my way to become a millionaire. I was investing in the stock market then. But I bought that company in 2019 from my mentor. So I joined in 2015, grew the company. He asked me to become a coach. He asked me to become the COO, and then I eventually bought it from him in 2019 and changed a lot of the things we were doing, changed the branding, changed a lot of the offerings, and kind of scaled up the business. So that's called Seven Figure Flipping. I run that company now since 2019. It's a coaching and development company for real estate investors. And then, I mean, it just opened a lot of doors. So then I was a house flipper and I was a coaching business owner, but I didn't start the business. I bought it, and then since then I've built a couple other things, mostly in real estate and money. But I had to learn marketing in 2019, so that's what brought me to Russell. So
Mm.
Russell's kind of been the marketing mentor of mine since then, and that's how we met. So, I have a farm in my backyard that does almost $1 million a year top line revenue, but it's a great write-off
Really?
taxes. Yeah, we do about. I think we'll probably do 850 or 900K this
How
year.
many acres?
13 acres. Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
do on there? So do you guys have like events on there and stuff, or what's the?
Yeah, it's funny. So I'm in my office right now. I have a 16,000 square foot office, about 3 miles from my house. In my
Hmm.
backyard, I have a 13-acre farm, and we built about 3 years ago. I built a 3,600 square foot barn on the farm, so we could actually do events there. And
Hmm.
then I renovated the house about 6 months ago and turned it into an Airbnb on the farm. Because we live in a house that's like attached to the farm. So we live in a neighborhood, half acre, and then a farm's our backyard. And
Mm.
so we do produce, we do chickens, we do eggs, we have horses and goats. Sometimes we'll breed some goats and sell them. But mostly what I do is I find other farmers and that can't market and sell their product, and I buy wholesale from them, and then I like add volume and I sell retail. So we have a farmers market every Saturday from 11 to 2. We usually,
They're on your farm? Are they on your
yeah,
farm?
yeah, right in
Okay,
the
that's cool.
barn. Yeah, we've been doing that since 2020 or 2021. And then, yeah, so that's where most of the revenue comes from beef. produce subscription, cheese. I mean, we sell all kinds of stuff. I'm like a full grocery store, basically. We have eggs, we have raw milk, we have raw cheese, we have chicken, we have beef. My wife makes donuts and she's made apple cider for this weekend. We have apples. We sell apples. Like, just any way. It's just I'm the business guy, and the farmers come in and sell their products there, and I help them grow their business.
That's interesting. I'm just I know I'm gonna go back to the engineer and the the timeline of that, and I know you're a pilot also. You briefly covered that, but I would like to unpack that as well. But before I get there, how did we come about the farm thing? Like, how was that? Was that a dream, or that was just like, I want to write off taxes, I want to figure out how to become a kind of thing, or what's the play there?
Yeah, it wasn't so much a tax write-off. It was more of like in 2020, I feel like a lot of our lives changed, right? So
Right.
I went back. My wife and I went through some problems then. She asked me for a divorce. We ended up like it's a very long story, but we reconciled, and part of that was she grew up with horses. I bought her a horse for Christmas that year at the end of 2020.
Wow.
And that horse was at a farm about 10 miles down, maybe 5 miles away. It's a 10, 15-minute drive. And we would drive over there. I put the kids in the car during COVID, and she would ride the horse, and we'd watch. And I remember watching that horse just like running in that field, and it was the most majestical thing I've ever seen. Like all these horses running, and I was like, man, I don't want to drive 15 minutes to go see this. I want to do
Right.
this back porch. And so there's 13 acres behind our house that it's in the middle of the city. Like we're in the middle of the city. It's like the
So
last.
the eight you had the acreage before you had
No,
the
no. I
okay, there
lived
you
on
go.
a half an acre max my entire life, never planted anything, killed everything I've ever planted. Like, yeah, I'm not a farmer. And so,
Gotcha.
and when we bought the house, I was like, one day I'm gonna buy this behind our house. Like, I'm gonna buy this
Mm.
property if I can. And then I just went and knocked on the guy's door and said, hey, I want to buy your property. I noticed it was for sale a few years ago and it's not anymore. What happened? Talked to him. And no, I mean, I'm in real estate. I've done probably 1,500 transactions at this point of flipping, buying, and selling properties.
Hmm.
So not as a real estate agent, as like a real buyer. And so
Hmm.
I knew how to creatively structure the deal. His youngest kid was a senior in high school. They were tired of all the new construction that's going on everywhere. They were there, and his dad built the house in the 50s. He grew up in it. He bought it back when his dad passed away, and then they just wanted to build a house in the country again. He's a country boy, and
Mm.
so I let him live in the house for 2 years rent free, while he built his house somewhere else. I gave him all the cash when I bought it, and we turned the grass into a farm while he was living there. And
Mm.
so, yeah, it's a win-win. Worked out great. It's probably worth double what we bought it for from then,
Yeah.
without the house probably. So,
Yeah. And it's cash flowing. So
yeah, I mean, it's a farm. I don't know. It's not really cash flowing. Like we
yeah.
don't really make a lot of money. I have very thin margins. I sell the beef for like cheaper than the grocery store.
Mm.
I mean, we have 1,000 people that come to the farmers market every Saturday probably.
Wow.
We probably do about 25 grand, 20 to $25,000 a week in that little 15 farm people there. So there's a
Right,
lot
right,
of
right.
people that are making decent money there. I'm probably
Hmm.
not one of them, but we have fun. Like everybody gets paid, everybody's got a job. It like fills up my soul that more than it does my bank account. But
Yeah, for
we
sure.
probably, I mean, I haven't been to the grocery store in like 4 years. So I mean, I might buy like bananas at the grocery store, but I eat the beef out of my freezer, the chicken out of my freezer. I eat the cheese. I drink the milk. I eat the eggs. Like I don't buy any of that stuff at the grocery store for the last 4 years.
Fudge.
And so we wanted to get healthy. We wanted our kids to have a place to grow up that wasn't like the arcade or the iPad. And so they go back there and they have a little 3D printed toy business now that they sell at the farmers market. They've done about 3 grand in the last 8 weeks or so. So it's fun. It's a fun place to be.
That's amazing. I just thought that was a very interesting, like, kind of, how do you say it? Like, there's a trajectory that most people go on, and then that was like a totally off the beaten path, because an engineer, I would think like you want to be in the city, you want to be like out there. That's kind of the frame. I'm
Well,
thinking, but again, it's a misconception.
what's interesting is like most people like so when I was getting into real estate, let's go back to like 2015 when I joined this coaching program, right? The
Right.
first thing that my coach said was he said, all right, you're right now, like, so what we did an exercise in the beginning, and I do this exercise with a lot of people. It's like add up all the money that you made in the last 12 months. like
Hmm.
all investments, cash, W-2, 1099, whatever it is. So if you're watching this, like add up all the money you made in the last 12 months. And
Yeah.
then add up all the time that you spent working, like all the work time, right? And then you take all the money that you made and divide it by the amount of time that you spent, right?
Hmm.
And so that gives you your dollar per hour for the last year.
Yeah.
And so mine was $55 an hour. I remember this coaching call that I had with him, and we did the math, and it was $55 an hour. And I was still cutting my grass. And I was still buying
Hmm.
lock boxes and putting them on the houses. I was still setting up utilities. Like I was not willing to hire someone. And so
Yeah.
he said to me, he's like, well, okay, maybe you should stop cutting your grass and maybe you should stop doing this stuff and hire somebody. And I was definitely afraid to do it. Different story. But in that moment, I was like, I'm never cutting my grass again, right? And so I hired somebody for 20 bucks. Some kid came to my house and cut my grass on a Saturday or whatever day he did it. Like it didn't matter. But I didn't have to cut my grass anymore. So I could take that time and either give it back to my family or I could create money making activities to go from $55 an hour to 100. And so I tell you the story because as an entrepreneur at that time, I needed to stop cutting my grass and I needed to stop doing the little things. But then what happened was I made a crap load of money and I built
Mm.
these businesses. And so what's interesting is now I cut my grass because I want to cut my grass, not
Correct.
because I have to cut my grass or I care
Yeah.
about my time. So now it's like, it's the whole saying is like, you know, now on the farm, it gives me an outlet and a place to do the things that I want to do and not because I need to do it or I get paid to do
Right.
it because I want to do it. So I like now hopping on my zero turn mower and cutting the grass on the farm and just
Yeah.
turning my phone off and getting away and going out there and breathing fresh air and listening to the sounds. And so it's interesting, like, once you make enough money, you go
Hmm.
back to doing the things that you want to do, not the things that you have to do. So I think for all of us, like, and I'm not saying keep cutting your grass, but I'm saying there's going to be a day where you might go back to cutting your grass. So, and,
That's
and
an
you
interesting
can put
point.
whatever you want in there. You can put
Yeah.
anything. It could be grass. It could be like the thing that you're enjoying doing. It might not make you a lot of money
Mm.
right now, which if you don't have a lot of money or you're not making a lot of money, you should stop doing that stuff. But then when you have a lot of money and you can pick what you want to do, and you can go on the vacations you want, and you have options. Money gives you options. I'm not like totally addicted to money, but then you can go back to just picking the things that you want to do again because you want to do them, not because you have to do them.
Hmm.
There's
And what
plenty of
got
people
you?
that are gonna be like, I never want to cut my grass again, and that's okay.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you. I actually had that same epiphany about the same time, maybe a little bit later, maybe like 2018, 2019, to have that epiphany as like my dollar per hour thing. I did that same study. Maybe it was the same guy. Um, but I had the same epiphany, like my dollar per hour. So now I have people that cut my grass. It just so happens to be my family. And then I have a little Airbnb, and my family actually is the one that, I'm trying to give like part-time jobs for my brother, my mom, and stuff like that, and give them more opportunity. So I fall right into the zone, but it was more so like just because I was like, I just don't want to do those things. And I did that study, and that study is so revealing, truthfully. I have a question for you though, Bill. You're on this journey where you're like, okay, I'm an engineer, I'm a pilot, I'm doing these things. When was that shift? Because I see it a lot. Well, I don't actually see it a lot. Let me rephrase that. I don't see the shift made for most people. Most people want to do it, but there's a stage right between from, where you're working full time to doing this full time for yourself that's like very, very scary. It's very, very scary if you're going like you're a W-2 employee or you're working at a certain thing and now you're going to complete unstructure. How did you have the confidence and the conviction to like step out in faith, if you will?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this question. I'll tell you why.
Why?
I didn't have to like quit my job and then just like burn the boats and go do it. So I
Mm,
I was flying airplanes. I mean, I built a multi-million-dollar business on the side while I was flying airplanes. So like I was still
interesting.
active duty W-2 employee.
You got
Um,
the hooks in there, buddy. Come on, come on. You're a
that
marketer. You got the hooks in there. You're a marketer.
yeah,
That
but
was
like
a hook. That was a
if
hook.
if you think about it, it's like uh I I was I wasn't like here's my deal. I'd said I'm going to keep flying airplanes until I don't like it anymore.
Mm,
Like it's super fun. Like they gave me a keys to an airplane every day and a student and a gas card I didn't have to pay for and said
right.
go fly this airplane. It's ejection seat, G suit, oxygen mask, 7.5 G airplane. I'm like, okay, like I'll go do aerobatics all day while my team is helping, like flipping houses. But it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't easy. So here's the deal. Here's what I had to do that most people are not willing to do. I woke up at about 4:30 or 5 a.m. every single day. And I went into my office until 7 a.m. when my son woke up. He was like 6 months old, and my wife got up. And then I made breakfast and hung out with my family. Then I went to work all day in the office from 4:30 to or 4:30 to 7, I was working on my business.
Mm.
And then I went to work all day. And any moment that I had that was downtime at work, I didn't go get lunch with my friends. I didn't, screw around. I got on the computer and I checked my email. I worked on my business. I sent a message to my assistant. Like I was moving the needle for the company at any moment that I had downtime, right? There was no wasted time. And then I got home.
Mm-hmm.
We had dinner. Played with my son a little bit. We did his bath. We put him to bed. He went to bed early at 7. My wife went to the couch to watch TV, and I went in the office again until like 10:30, 11 o'clock every single night. And I did that for an entire year. And every single
Mm.
weekend, I was going to the houses and figuring things out. And I didn't drink alcohol. I didn't go party. I didn't like go out with my friends. We barely like we went out with my firstborn at the time. Like we take him to the park and do stuff. But I mean, I was looking at my phone. I told my wife, you give me a year, I'll build a business and we'll never have to work again for the rest of our lives if we don't want to. And so that was the commitment that I made around my W-2 job, right? Most people say, well, I don't have time. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's a bunch of BS. Like you got plenty of time.
Right.
You have loads of time. You're just not willing to change your life for the actual life that you want. So you're either not in enough pain yet,
Mm-hmm.
or you're not fully committed to the result that you actually say that you want. And you probably have a plan B or a plan C.
Right.
So I was like, anything that I say I'm going to do, I'm either a 0 or a 10. So I'm either all in, or I'm out. But I didn't quit my job, and there wasn't like a scary point really. Like, you know what I mean? The scary point was when I was like $45,000 into the business and hadn't made a dollar yet. That's probably the scary point. But
Makes
honestly,
sense.
it was money I was willing to light on fire to figure out if I was cut out for this.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's going to school.
I'd already put $60,000 in the bucket and said, I'm gonna build this business, or I'm gonna lose 60 grand doing it. So hopefully that answers your question. Like the jumping off point for me, like most of you that are watching this probably have never been in a high risk environment. Like you're
Mm.
going to die, right? And you don't have a job that you might die. If you're a police officer, if you're a firefighter, if you're a military professional, if you're, you know, nurse has the opportunity to like kill people, doctors, lawyers, like lawyers, you make a mistake, somebody's going to jail, right? These are really high risk professions. And so I think if you're in that world, then the thought of like building a business and losing some money is not that big of a deal. But if you're in you've been in a low risk environment your entire career, you're a W-2 employee, you are an engineer or something like that. Like I might have an engineering degree, but I had a very high risk profession for my entire career leading up to my
Yeah.
entrepreneurial journey. The idea of losing some money or like not being able to get another job is just not really like in the cards. So
Mm.
I think that's like a program that's running in some people's brains that's not running in others. So if you are scared, that's a real thing, but
Mm-hmm.
it really is just a risk equation. It's really just math and numbers.
Yeah.
It might not feel like that, but all you need to do is de-risk the situation a little bit and start thinking through what the possibility of what's going to happen if it doesn't work. And then you could jump a lot easier.
How did you de-risk it for yourself? Because I'm sure you did this in your head. You're like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, for me, it was like, so let's de-risk the 60,000. Let's de-risk the $25,000 investment. Okay, so this
There
is
you go.
probably the scariest thing that I did was I was super cheap, wouldn't spend money on anything, never bought a course, never bought an event ticket, never even bought a book. Like I
Mm.
have not bought a book up to this point. I'm on free forums. I'm listening to free podcasts, and this guy is talking about this mastermind that costs 20. He didn't say how much it cost. But it's this mastermind that they're joining, and all these people were on this podcast talking about they're going to make $1 million in a year. And I'm like, holy crap, I don't even know anybody who's made $1 million ever, let alone make $1 million in a year. Like my whole upbringing was I make $150,000 a year, I got it made. That was like the person who made the most money in my life. We were like lower middle class, right? 6 figures is like, that is the dream. And I was on my way to making that at this point. I'm making like 90, 95K as a pilot when I
Mm.
heard this podcast. And I had a couple like I had a couple, I had done a couple like rental houses. I had flipped one house, made $43,000. And I was in the middle of another flip when I was listening to this podcast, my second project. And it looked like I'd make about 45,000 on it. And so I'm listening to this and I'm like, man, these people are racing to $1 million. Like they're competing. It's going to be 25 people. And this group is going to go, it's called 7-figure flipping. They're going to flip houses to get to 7 figures. And so now we have this outcome, right? So the way you de-risk a situation is this is the outcome that you're looking for. Like I wanted to make $1 million. Like these people are making $1 million in a year. I'm like, this is possible? Like, what if I did that? So this is like the outcome, $1 million in a year, right? And then I say, all right, what do I have to risk to do this? And I didn't have this mindset yet. I get on the call or, I go to the landing page and it's $25,000. And I'm like, 25 grand, that's an Acura. Like that's a Honda. And funny enough, I'm taking like liabilities and comparing a liability to an investment like into a mastermind or coaching program. And so I call my dad. My dad, grew up. My dad left his full-time job to start an engineering business. My dad took a risk. Like my dad is the guy who you probably want to ask this question to. I remember he was in the basement building this engineering business from scratch. We had no money. They spent all their money on a nice house to put us in the best school district, and we bought clothes at the thrift shop. My mom was like sewing together jeans, random crap like that, but going to the really nice fancy school where everybody's rich. And so I call my dad because he made it. About 10 years later, he built a multi-million-dollar engineering business, and
Good for him.
really did well. And but I was in like middle of my way through college when he made it, right? And he wasn't around very much when we were younger. He was around when he had to be. So my dad's probably my biggest mentor. And I call him and I'm like, these guys want $25,000. He's like, well, what do they do? And I'm like, well, they just, they know what they're doing. They're doing 100 houses a year. I'm doing one. He's like, all right, how much did you make on the last house? I'm like, 43 grand, and I'm making 45 on this next one. He goes, do you think they could help you do more than one house? I was like, well, yeah, I mean, they're doing 100. Why wouldn't they should be able to help me do more than one, right? And he's like, all right, then why are we even having this conversation? Like, would you pay $25,000 to make an extra 40 or 50,000 or an extra $100,000 next year? And I'm like, well, yeah. He's like, all right, well, this is what he said. He said, it sounds like you believe in them, but you don't believe in you. And that's all it took for me to be like, oh, the hell you're going to say that? Like, I believe in myself. I know I can do this. When I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to win. And so that was like the upside was $1 million. The downside was $25,000 and my name and my pride. And so I knew that I was not willing to just like go halfway. So again, I'm a 0 or 10 person. I know some people, their history might not be a history of success. And so now you got to stack success and wins when you're thinking about de-risking a situation, right? And so obviously then most people go to a place of like, I don't have time for this, all that kind of stuff. I don't have the money. Oh, what about my spouse? Like self-doubt. So fear. Okay, so there's money, spouse, fear, shame, self-doubt. These are the only things that are in your head that are going to stop you from succeeding. Those 5 things. Okay. So if you can get rid of these 5 things or be like, why do I think this? Then you will be unstoppable. Like nobody can stop you if you can stop. So
how did you come up with those 5? Just curious. How did you find that?
Barry Baumgardner told me them. And
Okay.
She runs the best event company on the planet. And she's amazing.
Okay.
And
Cool.
she's done like billions of dollars in sales from stage with her clients and her. So yeah, she told me.
Okay, gotcha.
So, but it's true. Like when I think about it, it's all those things. And self-doubt is really the one I think that gets you. And so fortunately, I didn't have a ton of self-doubt, but what you have to
because you had a track record of success prior to, right?
Yeah, for success in school and the military and things like that. I was, but that's because of work ethic and dedication and commitment and not 0 or 10. Like, I just go all in. I put it all on, I leave it all on the field. I just want to say I did the best that I could. And that's all I needed to do. So I don't know if I answered your question, but to de-risk this situation, the upside's $1 million. The downside is $25,000, of which I can make back regardless. Right. Most people are going to blame the coach. They're going to blame everybody else. Like every program works. You just have to work it. Right. So you got $1 million and 25K. And so that's a pretty so what I want to do is we only make risk decisions. So here's a quote for you. Only make risk decisions when the benefits outweigh the costs. So do you think that $1 million upside outweighs a $25,000 downside when you're making $100,000 a year? Yeah, insane, right? We only make risk decisions when the benefit greatly outweighs the cost. I would put greatly in there, greatly outweigh the cost. And so the cost $25,000 in maybe a year of my life for a potential $1 million upside, which, oh, by the way, if it works, it's not $1 million. It's $1 million that year,
Yeah.
which means there will never be a year that I don't think that I can make $1 million again.
Right.
So now it's $2 million the next year, $3 million the next year. Maybe it's a down year and it's only $1 million a year after that. Or maybe it's 500,000. Like maybe we fall short and it's 300 grand or 400 grand or 500 grand. That's still a 3 to 5x what I was making at the time. Um, so that's when you can easily make a risk decision. And that's what we do in the military. I mean, that what I just gave you, that quote, is operational risk management. It's
Really?
one of the laws of operational risk management. So
Really? That's interesting. I've always been about, I've always admired people in the military because I didn't have the courage to do so myself. So when I hear like we have Parker in the inner circle, I love hearing him talk too because he has that operational like foundation of stability and mindset and being able to approach these things through that operator mindset. Now, you did answer my question, and I actually like your question. I like your answer better simply because I did the alternative. I did what your dad did. I risked it all. I pushed everything in and I lost it all and I lost it all again. And I like because going back, I probably would have loved to do your path better. And most people actually would like your path better because it's like there is a logical path to like getting, like you have to cross the chasm, as I say. You have to cross the chasm of being like stable somewhere else to becoming stable for yourself, right? And most people think that it's just this big swing, like you have to take this big risk, but the way you put it is like you did risk it. And most people don't do that, myself included. I did not do that. I was very emotional, and I'm to the same degree, like very all in and very all out. Like I'm not coming to lose. I'm not coming to come in second place. And so I
yeah.
love I love the thought process too, because I think that's also a challenge that most people face is they kind of dip their foot in the water and they're like, let me see how this feels. Right.
Yeah. You know, some people have to lose it all to they have to have their back against the wall to really fight. And
Right.
other people can just fight all the time. So
Yeah.
it's kind of just like the biggest thing is that I can share is like everybody just you believe in yourself. Like there's so much more inside of there that you don't even know. You've tapped into probably 10% of your capacity and capability. So
Why let me ask you this question because I had the weird epiphany when I was on path, not engineering, whatever. When I went to college, I graduated with honors. I did all the accolades. So I had proof of success. I was top athlete, everything, all the things, right? And I was sitting in my college. I remember sitting there as I'm graduating, and I'm on my path to become a physical therapist. And I'm like, is this what I really want to do with my life? That was my epiphany that I was like, everything changed for me. Was there a time like that for you when you were going down this path and you're like, I want to do a business? Or was that just kind of like random at some point?
I mean there was some suck in the business for sure. Like
But
especially
what
at the
made you
time.
like even decide to go down that path?
I think for me, it was just freedom. I think it's always been that. Like, I'd say the biggest part of the military that I didn't like,
Mm,
and when I think about like wanting to consider getting out of the military, it was um, I have to ask permission for time off
mm,
or permission to do something. Like, I
mm,
just want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it with who I want to do it. Right. And so
right.
I just, whether it's, and so the military was tough with I mean, I put in some leave chits to, I wanted to run a marathon at one time and it conflicted with something else and I couldn't do it. There's a lot of times where I couldn't go somewhere. I couldn't be somewhere. They tell us what to wear, what to do, what to say, those kinds, a lot of that stuff. So, I mean, I got to wear pajamas all the time, so it's kind of nice as a pilot. But yeah, it was that kind of thing. Like I think there's just always this level of freedom that I was looking for and wanting in my life, and
Mm,
that's financial freedom, time freedom, and like impact freedom. Like I can write a check and now and be like, I don't need to worry about this. Like I'll forget about it in a month and I'll be able to make it back if you know, there's just I can create money
Hmm. Hmm.
and create opportunity. And so when you have that, like, nobody can control you. You can just
Right.
quit whenever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can be confident in going anywhere at any time in any market, frankly, and take care of yourself and your family.
Right.
So that was very interesting for me. So
Uh,
I also have a like the reason why I got out of the military was number one, I didn't want to go get deployed again, but number two, I didn't want to leave my home because my son was born with half a heart. He's had 5 open heart surgeries. So my middle son was like first 6 months he was alive. He was in the hospital for 4 months of them doing 4 open heart surgeries. So like I wanted to be there all the time for him. The military was great for me in that, but you know, I didn't want to be deployed or away. And I mean, I did miss an emergency open heart surgery of his. I was down in Florida flying. Like everything was good after his third surgery. And then I went down to Florida from Tennessee to go fly for the military. And they called me back in while I was flying because he was having this emergency open heart surgery. And then I had to drive 6 hours home wondering what was going on, you know, and
My goodness.
that was the day I bought an airplane and like then I could be home in an hour in a situation like that. But yeah, so that changed things. Like your whole life is going to change. So like you just make the best decision that's in front of you, I think. So,
Right.
yeah.
I love it, man. Well, that's a interesting. I love the story because it tells the journey or the hero's journey as they call it. It tells the origin. And a lot of people, and what's interesting about here's where I find a lot of people challenged that I see that you're very how do I say this? You thrive in this. So a lot of people cannot operate multiple businesses. They can't operate one, let alone multiple, but they try multiple. Like once they get to some degree of success, they get to 200,000 a year and they think, well, I'll just open five more businesses. I'll get five of them at $200,000 a year and they'll make 1 million. You're able to do that. Why are you able to knock down like business after business after business after business and be able to kind of sustain all of them simultaneously?
Well, let me start this answer by saying I would make more money and be more successful if I did one thing.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
100% true. Okay. And there's a lot of people talking about that, right? However, uh, I don't care. I don't, that doesn't blow my skirt up. It doesn't get me really excited. Like I don't want I like doing what I want to do. I like saying yes to things that I want to do that give me energy and get me excited. So like the farm. The farm, we
Hmm.
could have had this little farm that just grew some produce for our family and we let some people come over and it was simple. But I made it this big thing because I like building communities. I didn't know a lot of people around my community. Now I'm very well known here. They don't know me as the real estate guy. They know me as they think I'm the farmer. Like in
Yeah.
Spring Hill, Tennessee, you people will see me in the grocery store and be like, "Yeah, I recognize you." And it's not from a Facebook ad. It's from a live Facebook video at my farm, probably on a Saturday.
Mm.
So I want to do what I want to do. So inside of that, the way that I'm successful is just systems.
Hmm.
And there's a show. Marcus Lemonis had this show called The Profit, right? And
Hmm.
we talked about the 3 Ps in there:
Mm.
the people, the process, and the product.
Mm.
And so the product doesn't matter. It's just a widget. Like whatever the widget is, like if it's a good widget, it's probably going to be more successful. But it doesn't matter if it's a farm, if it's like I have a business in Kentucky where we buy houses and we sell them on owner financing. I buy a bunch
Hmm.
of apartments to raise money for apartment buildings. I have a TV show now. We have our 7-figure flipping coaching business. We have our Blackjack real estate company, which is our a house buying business. There's a lot of other things that I want to do right now. I want to build a indoor pickleball facility here in Spring Hill where I can just, you know, I own the pickleball courts around here, so I don't have to wait to play. Things like that. So like when I think about all of that, and there's probably 3 or 4 others. Inside of that, it's like the product doesn't matter. Like each business is the exact same. Business is business. It's very simple. It's just a different widget, right? And so now it's the people and the process. And the
Hmm.
process is the system, but the system is primarily the right people following the right process, right? And
Hmm.
so those two things, so the way that I do anything is like the farm. If you think about the farm, I had the idea, I built it, I started it, I ran it for a bit, and then I put somebody in place.
Mm-hmm.
The Blackjack Real Estate, I built it, tried to run it, I hired a couple people, and I knew where I best fit in the business, and I had to hire a couple people to run it. And so, and then I handed it off. Like I actually have not touched that business in years, since about 2021 or 2022. And I'm like a minority owner now. I get distributions. I don't do anything, but I'm the founder, right, of that business. And they use me. They use my face, my likeness, my image, those kind of things for the business. But I don't run it. There's two people that run it full time. And so, but like when that breaks, that one's not going to break. But like, let's say seven figure flipping, the coaching business, like I'm the owner, I'm the guy. If that breaks and my COO leaves or my CEO leaves or somebody like that, then I'm going to get sucked back into that business to rebuild it, put somebody else in place, and then leave again if I want to leave. So what
Mm-hmm.
you have to understand is you can't build five things at once. You got to
Yeah.
build one thing. You got to get it humming, get it to like 90%, put somebody in place, and then they can run it. Like I actually have like a 5-step framework for a system, and inside of that, there's little pieces. But
Mm.
everything from like we do beef boxes at the farm. It's the easiest one to
Mm-hmm.
talk about. We get 8 cows, sometimes 10 each month, and we feed 150 families in a box. We have a specific box that we build for them, and then they come get them the next day. We build them on Friday, they come get them the first Saturday of every month. And there's
Mm.
150 people that pick up a box. And it's the process is like seamless. The
Mm-hmm.
reason why is because we've gone through three iterations, the first 3 months that I had it with me running it, and my future person who's going to be running it watching me and shadowing me. And then
Mm-hmm.
month 4, they ran it and I watched her run it. And
Mm-hmm.
then month 5, I went on vacation and I wasn't even there.
Right.
And so it's because there's an actual system that gets built, it gets documented, it gets trained to, it gets
Mm-hmm.
reviewed, and it gets run. And
Mm.
so I think that's how you can run it. So you can't build 5 at once though. Like
Yeah.
you got to build them one at a time and kind of build it, test it, adjust it, put somebody in place, delegate it, they accept it, and then they run it. And then you check in maybe every 3 or 6 months to see how it is, adjust it, edit it. And that's how you get to the 99% solution instead of like the 80% solution.
I hear you. I hear you. Is there like a red light, green light system that you follow that you're like, okay, I'm here at 90%. This is my time to take a vacation and test the system and see if the system is humming as I presumed it would be.
I have a very high level of trust. And so
That's what I was thinking. That's the alternative. You either have a
well,
really, really fine line of like this is the KPIs you have to fall within to be able to take over, or you have a huge sense of trust with the people you bring on.
yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on what the system is, right? If it's
Right.
is it going to burn the house down? There's you probably know this guy, heard this guy, Jocko Willink. You know
Hmm.
Jocko. So Jocko's guys, we've done some training together and things like that. And so there was a guy on his team that said something to me that really changed kind of everything in the way that I look at how where I get involved and how much I get involved. I have this idea like CEOs are really lazy. They shouldn't have to do a lot of work. They should be building the system, letting other people run the system, delegating it, and then just seeing if anybody needs them to remove big obstacles for them, right? And so he said we were talking about ownership, and somebody asked a question. Somebody in my mastermind said, "Hey, like what if like they come to me with their idea and like or I think it was like these people keep coming to me with problems like they come to me with problems, I solve the problem, right? And they were like, well, I said that the reason you're training them to bring you problems, you're solving them.
Hmm.
And so he said, here, think about this. If somebody brings you the 70% solution to a problem, right, 70% solution, and you have the 80% solution, and you probably do. Like if you're a visionary, if you're the owner of the business, if you've been around for a long time, and if you've done this for a long time, the person that you hire is going to have worse ideas than you in the beginning. I think we can all agree with that. You
Yeah.
probably know how to sprinkle the cherry on top, put some sprinkles on top, like make it a little bit better, right? And I see visionaries and entrepreneurs do this every day.
Mm.
Somebody brings you, there's a problem or some event or something that you're doing, and they bring you the plan. It's the 70% solution to what's going on, but they have 100% ownership on it, right? So it's their plan, right? They believe in it. They're excited about their plan. So let's say, Dan, you bring me your plan. It's a set. I'm like, that's a 70% solution. Like I can,
Yeah, you're like it kind of sucks, but it's okay.
yeah, like I can make it better. It's a good idea, Dan, but I could probably make it better. So what do? I make it better. So let's say I say, hey, did you think about this? What about this? Hey, do this, do this, do this. And you're like, dang, that's good. Like, that's really good. My ego gets stroked a little bit. I'm like, I know it's good.
Of course.
I'm pretty good. I'm a little bit better than you. And now we have the 80% solution.
Mm,
But where's your level of ownership? Where did it go? Is it still at 100%?
no,
Where
no,
is
it's
it?
like 80-20. It's like you got some of my ownership, and now I depend on you for the answer
Well, so
to
let's
some
just say it's
degree.
50%. Maybe let's say 50%. You're like, you know what? I think that might be better, but I kind of like my idea over here. So the execution now is a 50% ownership of that solution. So now you
Huh.
take the 80% solution at 50% ownership and you go execute on that.
Huh.
And then if it doesn't go well, what happens? Let's say it doesn't go well, Dan. What do you say?
I'm blaming you because you
Yeah,
had some
maybe.
insight.
Like you're probably not a guy who's gonna like point the finger, but
No,
you're probably gonna be like, I wonder what would have happened if we ran my play.
correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
So the first thing
You're
I would
probably
say
gonna be
is
like
like,
that.
well, the first thing I would say is like, okay, my plan probably would have worked better because I
Yeah,
wanted
maybe.
it because I would have worked it. I would have
Maybe.
worked the thing.
You would have worked harder if it was your plan because if
Correct.
something goes wrong during that time, every single person is like, I wonder what would have happened if we ran my plan. But if
Uh-huh.
you were executing your plan, how much harder would you have worked to make it happen, to
I wouldn't sleep.
increase the
I would.
outcome?
I wouldn't
Exactly.
sleep.
The right
No,
person wouldn't. Yeah, right.
no.
So now the 70% solution at 100% ownership and execution is way better than the 80% solution at 50% ownership and
Very
execution.
true. Dang, that is
So
game changer.
so why would we even ever put the cherry on top? So the only time that Dan, when you bring me something, what I know now and what I've been trained to do and the way that I operate now, the only time I'm going to change your plan is if I know you're going to burn the house down, lose a bunch of money. I've done it before. It's not going to work. Like I'm like we are going to crash and burn with that. Otherwise, I'm
Mm,
going to say, all right, that sounds good. Go do it. Or I might say, well, what happens if this? What happens if this? Okay, great.
mhm.
That sounds good. Like go. And then you're going to execute your plan. You're going to come back. And that's how you train. That's how you train somebody. Because now you come back, hey, it didn't go as we thought, da 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 da. And I'm not going to say, I told you so.
Mm.
I knew that wasn't going to happen. I'm going to say, hey, what'd you learn? And you're going to say, well, this, and this, and this, and this. And that's the way that we get our people to where they need to go, not micromanage them. And so now what am I training you to do? I'm training you to work harder on your plan the next time. And you are going to. You're probably going to bring me the 75 or 80% solution. And the
To
only
prove to
way we
prove to
know,
prove my own worth. To say like, oh
totally,
yeah, you see, I did it, right? That's what I would do.
yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
you're going to get better. You're going to get better. And then the only thing that I would say in this is you are now building your plan, you're adjusting, you're tweaking, you're thinking about this, we're doing, the debrief afterwards and you're getting better.
Hmm.
If I changed your plan, all I'm doing is training you to come back to me next time. And so what are you going to do? If I change your plan 3 or 4 times in a row every time you bring me something, you're going to go, you know what? I'm not going to work so hard on this time because Bill's just going to change it. And so then you're going to bring me the 50%. You're going to be like, whatever I bring to him, he's just going to change anyway. So why would I even work it that hard on it? And so what you're doing, what every business owner is doing, is they're increasing the gap between them and their people by like anti-training them. You're not building their confidence, you're not building their expertise, you're not letting them grow. And then you come to somebody like me who might come in and consult on your business and be like, I don't know why everybody comes to me with their problems all the time. Like you're living in the prison that you built for yourself.
Right.
So
Golly,
that
that's
thing right
gangster.
there, that little thing like changed everything for me. It was really good.
That's gangster for sure. That's for sure gangster. I actually learned that, but not because I wanted to, but because I got decision fatigue that I'm like, sure, if you like it, go for it. Like when people come to me with a lot of they come to me with a lot of insights. I built my own, prison as you called it. But like at some point you get decision fatigue because you're just making decisions all day that you just like, you know what? If you like it, are you gonna do it? Cool. Who's gonna be responsible for it? Who's the throat to choke, right? Who's the one throat to
Yep.
choke? Who's responsible for it? Cool. Go for it. Take it, send it back to me when it works. If it has numbers, tell me the numbers. I'll tell you if it works or not. Like
Yeah,
that's kind of how mine works now. Not
I don't ever
because
make decisions. Don't make decisions. Like,
it's interesting.
let those people do it. Say, well, what do you think we
I
should
like
do?
that.
How should we do it? Like, let them bring you a plan. And if they
I
bring
like
you
it.
2 or 3 options, make them pick one.
I
Because
like that.
additionally, what you're going to see is you're going to see how they think. You're going to see how their
Hmm.
expertise is growing. You're going to see how they're
Hmm.
developing. Like anytime somebody comes to me, I'm like, what do you think we should do?
Hmm.
Even like entry level employee, it doesn't matter. Like, hey,
Hmm.
because they have great ideas too. Everybody's got great
Right.
ideas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, hey, if we did that, what do you think's going to happen?
Mm.
All right. So if somebody comes to me and is like, hey, can I do this? I'm like, well, did you map out the results, like what you expect?
Hmm.
And I want to see it written down. I want to see what they think is going to happen. I want to see it all in writing.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna let you go fall on the sword, and then you're going to come back, even though I know it might not work. You're going to learn way more. You're going to develop faster. You're going to be a better leader for me. And that's how we build leaders, right? We build people that
Hmm.
we got to build people that can make decisions, not come to us and ask questions. And that's
Hmm.
the problem with the W-2 mentality and the W-2 concept, I think, is inside of an entrepreneurial organization in a business like this, we need to build other like little mini business owners. You need to build
Correct.
people that make decisions, that understand they can get better, and they're not just like coming to you to ask you for like what to do all the time.
Right. Right.
Because that's the
Wow.
only way you can go on vacation.
Super, super amazing, dude. Crazy awesome. Actually, that's a big insight for me. Now, I know we're kind of a little hot on time, so I'll ask you in a transition period of like the reason why I actually like when I came to Funnel Hack Live, and then like I'm an obsessive type personality too. Very, very obsessive. So the reason that we only joined the inner circle because of one reason. One reason and one person and one presentation that I saw that I'm like, I'm in, which was Bill's, the Big Daddy Bill, Tall
Yeah.
Bill. I saw that presentation where he said I spend $150,000 a day. I said I don't care what anything else. I'm going straight to him to the degree where he's like, dude, I need a restraining order on this freaking guy. Like I was everywhere he was. I was on his hip. I was trying because I'm an obsessive personality as well. I need it. Like once I know it's there, I can't sleep without it. Right. And when I got there, I'm like with the inner circle and all that stuff, and then I'm like, wait a minute, who's running all this thing? And then come to find out it was you that was putting all this together. I'm like, who's this guy? And so when I started hearing you speak, I'm like, oh, I get it now. I see why this is a well-oiled machine. Because, whatever, I saw the well-oiled machine coming together and I'm like, huh, interesting. And even when we went inner circle, I saw the like people coming to you asking you questions, and I'm like, it was very intriguing to me to say the least that I saw you having your own business, but then running one of the biggest, inner like coaching programs in our space. Tell me how that came about. Like I'm not even sure how that even came about, how you guys
Yeah,
came
yeah.
together and found that out.
First of all, I'm not running all that. Like it might look like it, but
Mm,
um, like there's a amazing team that was well oiled before I even got there.
okay.
Right. And so just so you know, like it's you came in and I was I have been helping Russell as an operator inside of the business, the info business and things like that for the last year or so, a little longer than a year. But I mean the people that run that, Miles and Clayton and Brent and like the whole staff that and Russell and the team, like
Hmm.
everybody that puts those events on, like those events have been phenomenal, but way before I got there. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay, gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
I 100%. You came into a coaching program, I feel like that has been amazing for many years, has produced some of the best marketers on the planet, and the biggest people in our space have been through those doors. So I certainly am not going to take credit away from the people that run that and
Love that.
any of that stuff. What I will say is the way that it came about was I was in the Atlas group. I was in the Category Kings group when there was no Atlas, and then moved into the Atlas group when Russell launched his Atlas program, which is his highest level mastermind for many years. It was
Hmm.
3 years. This will be four now, like ending, so 4 years. And I was like the operational guy. I would always talk about like how to like retain your clients that you've already sold, and how to we do an engagement score, like a specific number on all of our clients that tells us if they're likely to cancel or unlikely to cancel, and how much they like it, like all just a total data nerd. So it takes 2.6 events for people to buy my high ticket program, like all of this, like those are the presentations I would give, right? And the whole time I'm like, Russell could care less about operations.
They're
Yeah,
just
he's not
glazing over.
listening. Nobody else is listening. Everybody's like, how do I find a bill, And so I never thought that anybody was listening or cared about what I was doing. And I just
Right.
needed to get better at marketing. So I was like taking all the notes and listening to everything they were saying, and better at marketing and sales, because it's not, it's not like where I lean to naturally. And
Uh-huh.
so, yeah, so in all that, Russell got to a place of just needing some operational help in the business and just asked me if, and kind of like a roundabout way, it was at one of the Atlas meetings. It was kind of funny. One day, if you guys ever join Atlas, you'll be able to watch the recording of it. But he's kind of like, it was my hot seat, but he was asking me if I would like come work with him. And I was like, if you want to talk about this seriously, we can. He's like, I thought we were. He was just like casually mentioning, he's like, when you become my CEO, then we'll do this. And and so yeah, I gave it a trial run for a couple months. I told him I'd help him through Funnel Hacking Live. So like from virtual Funnel Hacking Live to the Funnel Hacking Live 10. And
Mm-hmm.
then I really enjoyed it. So I love the people. I love a challenge. I love to win.
Mm.
And so he's a big visionary. He's
Yeah. Yeah,
really
dude.
challenging to work with because he's got so many ideas, right? And so I've really enjoyed doing it. I love the people. I love trying something new and being involved in the community that's given so much to me. It's very similar to what happened with me in the real estate flipping business. He brought me in as a coach and the COO, and I don't foresee myself buying Russell's Inner Circle or his coaching business, but it's been fun. And the same thing. I do it because I like to do it, not because I have to do it. And hopefully he
Mm-hmm.
keeps me around because he likes having me there. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how it came about. I certainly am not going to take credit for the business, and they were
And
doing
but you
well
guys
way
were
before I came.
you are also running the Prime Mover movement too, right?
Yeah, prime mover. But I mean, running it is like I said, like I really feel like I'm pretty lazy. Like my job is to lead. My job is to help cast the vision along with Russell. My job is to make sure that the data, the numbers that we're tracking that stuff. Developing the leaders, developing the people under me. I really don't turn a lot of wrenches and or use the screwdrivers. I really am. The problem with most businesses is though, and I see it in a lot, is like there's multi levels of this, of like management, like managers managing managers and managing managers.
Yeah.
So really, like my job is leadership, probably leadership, lead, manage, and hold people accountable, and understand that they're like the people below me should be doing and leading and managing and holding people accountable. And that most of my doing is usually like one-on-ones, mentoring, building like bigger relationships, like things like that, like keeping the ball moving down the court in certain areas. So and then creating like 10x value to my pay each month. So that's the
I like
biggest
it.
that I have to do. So even
I
if it
love
is
it.
me getting on a sales call or closing somebody or referring somebody or doing whatever, you know. So yeah. But
Love it,
yeah,
man.
I'm not the reason the business is really successful. It's the people, it's the process, and it's the
Yeah.
product. And Russell's the product and his teachings, which are, I mean, it's so easy to sell. The people are amazing, and we're always trying to top grade and look for great people, right? So if anybody's interested in being on an amazing team and in that world, then I'm always happy to talk to them. And then the process, like I think, bringing in processes and documenting them and training and making sure that they're tight is probably another one of my job, efficiency and optimization.
Cool, man. Any closing thoughts? Anything else?
No, I'm thankful you invited me to talk. I love talking about this stuff and telling stories, and hopefully, I mean, if I help one person, it was totally worth it. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
absolutely. Absolutely. So much value, and I love, I mean, for me, I love hearing people like you because, you can probably hear from how I talk. I'm more of an operator than I am a marketer. I just happened to learn marketing before I learned operations, and now I'm in that season where I'm like transitioning into more of an operator that happens to know marketing. And so when I hear people like you talk, it's like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And you guys are appearing for me like it's like glaring in front of me. Us doing $1 million a month consecutively is like, it's cash collected is not an easy feat. And so
that's amazing.
learning these concepts is from you guys, from Russell, from Bill, from the other Bill, and you're learning from you as well. It's just been amazing to see you guys and be able to look from the outside, almost like a how do I say this? Like I'm living vicariously through you guys. Like I see y'all and I'm like, man, that's awesome. I want that. So I'm ferociously approaching that, trying to get to there. So I mean, again, Bill, thank you so much for spending the time here. And
Hey, before we go, I just want to one thing to share with you, which might help, is like just be careful. Like the grass, all like it always looks good. There's
yeah,
everybody's got challenges, problems, issues, etc. Most of what you see in anybody's business in life is just the highlight reel. Okay,
Oh,
so
for sure.
just like don't for you specifically, and anybody's listening, is like build your life and your business the way you want, and then model what some of the other people like. Take a little bit from here and there, and you know,
Hmm.
a little Frankenstein model of what you want. So everything once you get inside, like there's plenty like
Everyone's got
this looks
garbage.
really nice. This looks really nice. But I turn the camera around and show you what my office looks like is a disaster.
You just like
So
clothes all over the floor. You're like,
yeah, it's just no. I had to throw like 20 things on the floor before doing this interview.
you're
So
like,
just so you guys know, and that's real life. Okay, the 10%
yeah,
that you see is a lot better than the 90%. But
100%.
find the people that are real. Find the people that are raw. Find the people that have similar values and character than you, and stay
Hmm.
close to them. That's important.
Yeah, I agree. And the story too, like the past, the
Yeah.
history helps a lot with the future.
Yep.
So I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, Bill. You're a rock star.
Absolutely. See ya.
See you, man.